Schrager.
What's up, Schrager?
Joined by Jason McCourty, joined by Vince Goodwin. We were out all night with Team USA in Miami. We made it back for New York City.
11?
We've been at Club 11. We are on one. And we are joined today by Dominique Foxworth and Monica McNutt. You know what I'm talking about, Monica. Let's start with the game of the night. The red-hot Spurs visiting the best team in the East, the Detroit Pistons. Could this be a finals preview? We will see. Let's start off with Cade Cunningham and Victor Wembanyama, 19. And if you think the Spurs are too young to win a title or overcome OKC, it might be time to reconsider your position. This season, San Antonio is an NBA best 9-2 against the top 6 teams in the NBA. They are undefeated against the Pistons, Celtics, and Knicks out of the East, and they're 4-1 against the Thunder. We bring Monica McNutt in. We've got Vince here at the table. Monica, what did Wemby and the Spurs prove in last night's Monday night win versus the Pistons?
That the Pistons' lack of a second guy and inconsistent shooting at best could be a problem by the time you get to the postseason. In particular, if you do not have enough floor spacing to move a guy, not even per se as dominant as Victor Wembanyama, but someone who has the ability to protect the rim. If you cannot move a big, the Pistons really struggle. I would also add, when Cade Cunningham got into foul trouble, I mean, he was held to 5 of 26, which is a season low for a guy in a Pistons uniform that takes at least 25 shots. That offense really, really stifled. And I understand some of the lineup changes in terms of trying to get your all-defensive unit out there, but it was just too much firepower on the other end for the Spurs in this one.
Vince, I look at it, when you take it from a Spurs standpoint, what's your take?
I think, Peter, this team is getting ready to make a playoff run. I think we like to say, you're too young. I'm a person that says you got to go through the fire, you got to get your heart broken. But even though the Spurs are ahead of schedule, they have a defense and they have some opportunistic scoring. When you look at so many guys, Peter, that can take it off the dribble, get downhill, which frees things up for Big Slim, that becomes
Big Slim,
playoff.
I like that.
That's Big Slim, because he's not a big man, but he's kind of slim, and he's Jason Voorhees all in one. Like, it's freaky. And so for me, I'm changing my mind on what I think their ceiling is when you have Castle, when you have Fox, when you have Vassell. Just enough scoring, just enough shooting, all the defense, that means a problem.
I want you to see this, because every year there's the rodeo in San Antonio, and the Spurs have to go on this road trip. They're in the midst of their annual rodeo trip right now, and their last 5 games have been played away from home, and they are 5-0 in those games. And they're winning by an average of 19 points per game. And their next 4 games are on the road. That includes games against the Knicks on Sunday and the Sixers. Vince, the Spurs have done this all without the comfort of their bed, without the comfort of their home crowd. What does that tell you about the stretch run and maybe what they can do in May and June?
I am fascinated because usually during these things, like whether it's the Grammy trip for the Lakers or the circus trip for the Celtics, you find out what your team is made of. And usually it's the veteran teams, the middle of the winter, the dog days of the season. Those are the teams that really band together. This team is young, and they are playing with a veteran-like poise. That bodes well for when you have to go on the road, even if they'll have home court advantage. They're going to have home court advantage, at least probably in the first and second round. They're not afraid to walk into Oklahoma City. They're not afraid to walk into Houston. They're not afraid to go into Denver and play big boy playoff basketball. They are opening some eyes around the league. They're not just a year away. They're a force to be reckoned with right now.
Monica, we're so accustomed to being like, all right, in the NBA, you knock on the door, you lose in the first round, and the next year you lose in the second round, then you finally get to the Eastern Conference Finals or the Western Conference Finals, and maybe you get over the hump. Could this Spurs team, so young, almost like an overnight sensation, could they actually make a run this season?
They definitely could. Now, I will admit, though, Schrager, I still tend to lean to the way you teed that up, in that they haven't sniffed the playoffs at all yet, y'all. And listen, they carried this squad deep. De'Aaron Fox has been in the playoffs, but not necessarily deep. And not to mention, this will be a first year for Mitch Johnson. Now, if there was a formula for a team to buck trend, the main ingredient would be Victor Wembanyama. So I am not ruling it out. But I should say this, I am very curious to see what a series will look like with this young group.
Vince, I want to bring it back to the Pistons because we were celebrating them last week. You were on the show. They absolutely blew out the Knicks in the Garden. We were talking Cade Cunningham MVP. Pistons are the team to beat in the East. Was last night concerning, or is this just one of those, hey, sometimes you lose a game against a good team?
Yes, it's both. I think if you had concerns about Detroit going into this, despite their record, you said they don't have primary scoring outside of Cade Cunningham, and they're a below-average shooting team. Not a bad shooting team, but a below-average shooting team. And when you shoot 19% from three because Cade Cunningham is being loaded up on and he has foul trouble, that looks like playoff defense. That looks like what you're going to see in the postseason. And one thing that I was concerned about going into the trade deadline was Detroit going to acquire another secondary scorer. They did not. So that signaled to me that they're not sure that they're ready to make a finals run despite their record. They want to see what their young players are doing. They still want to grow this organically. The problem is we see how good they can be. We see Cade Cunningham being an MVP candidate. People want to see this team fully formed right now.
They were at home. They had the opportunity to make a statement. They lost. We're going to get plenty more basketball talk in the show.
They are a good team. They also beat good teams. So get this about the Spurs. They've won 5 games against the team with the best record in the NBA. 4 of them against the Thunder, and now this one against the Pistons. That is the most in a season in Spurs history and the most by any team since the 1992-93 Knicks.
All right, Kendrick Perkins joins us now. And look, Perk, Wemby didn't have his best game shooting, obviously, but like impactful players do, they always find a way to make their presence felt during the game. How does he continue to do that when he's not shooting well?
Well, I mean, first of all, that was a brawl for it all. And shout out to the Pistons because they kept their identity and tried to mix it up and get physical with Wemby tonight. But little did they know, all they do is pisses him off. And what great players do, they find a way to affect the game on both ends of the floor. And although he was 6 for 16 on the offensive end, I'm looking at what he was doing on the defensive side of things. The 17 rebounds, the 5 blocks. And what makes him unique is even when he's not blocking shots, he's still affecting the game because guys are terrified to even attempt to try to drive to the paint. And Wemby just has this old soul mentality where it's all about winning. He don't care about the praise. It just comes with it. This man is trying to win and accomplish something, and he is one of the best young leaders that we have in the game today.
Okay, I'm curious about what you just said about the Pistons, about how they tried to maintain their identity in this one. And yes, they ran into a Spurs team that's hot, but if you've got a team that's equally as hot and they're also maintaining their identity, why couldn't the Pistons get it done?
Well, because the Spurs proved to the world what I've been preaching for the last 2 to 3 weeks, that they're legit title contenders. That's what happened to the Pistons tonight. And look, Cade Cunningham, he's a phenomenal basketball player, but we saw the struggles that he had tonight, and it's because the Spurs check odds, duplicating what Oklahoma City has done to accomplish and win a championship. So when you look at Vassell, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Harrison Barnes, all of those guys are two-way players. And so when you're able to throw multiple bodies at a young superstar like Cade Cunningham and mix it up, then all of a sudden we get the results that we saw tonight. And obviously the Spurs came out victorious, but then you hold a young superstar in Cade Cunningham to a horrible night at the crib shooting-wise.
Perk, for clarification purposes, if you're saying the Spurs are a legit title contender, are you saying the Pistons are not?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that,
Okay.
but we both know that we both know that the Western Conference is a lot tougher than the Eastern Conference.
Correct.
Okay.
No shade to the Detroit Pistons, but the Spurs are just on a different type of mission because they have to be, because the people that they looking up to are the champs in that conference in Oklahoma City Thunder.
Cool, because I was just making
Different
sure
playing field.
I was just making sure you could visit Detroit anytime soon. The fans be on you. I've been looking out for you, dog. I'm looking out for you.
What up, though?